Today we're going to draw a donut and we're going to color it in using oil pastels. And first I start off drawing an oval with a circle inside, and then I kind of make it look like a little inflatable pool with like flat edges. And then I draw the drips for the frosting hanging off, and I'll draw a little bit of drips for the inside where the frosting's hanging off as well. And then I'm going to choose the color I want for the donut part, and I chose yellow. And so I'm basically just outlining all of the drips and coloring in the entire donut part yellow. And then I will then add in the highlights and the shadows and everything after that. But my base color for the donut is going to be yellow. So then I'm adding brown at the bottom and underneath all of the frosting. That's going to be basically my shadow area. And then I'm going to take white, and then that's going to be the highlight. And I'm cleaning off the white using a paper towel. And then I'm pressing kind of hard with the white so that it can blend with the yellow. And then I'm just going to be doing layers and layers and layers. So the white is going over the brown and the yellow areas. And the reason I'm doing this is because we want layers, okay? So then I'm going over it again with yellow. And if you notice, pressing a little bit too hard with the yellow kind of scrapes off the other layers of the oil pastel. So I have to be a little bit careful and press a little bit lighter. So then now I'm going to do the brown again. And the reason that I like doing layers and layers is because it adds that depth, it adds that dimension, and gives that illusion of it being realistic. So then I'm realizing, you know what? The circle I did, or the oval I did for the inside of the donut was not big enough. And so then I make it bigger. And then here I am just coloring in the donut with the yellow again, and I'm basically going to do the same thing that I had done with the white and the brown. And so I'm not pressing really hard so that the layers of oil pastel are not super thick, so that when I get to the other layers, because I did multiple layers, so that when I get to that other layer of yellow, it's not scraping off all of the previous layers. And so then I'm adding that yellow again and just trying to blend and make it look more realistic. And then I am going to be doing pink frosting. So I'm outlining it with the darker pink, and I'm going to fill it all completely in with that darker pink. So then you're going to use whatever color you chose. Obviously I chose pink, and you're going to fill in the entire area of all of the icing on the donut with that color. This is going to serve as your base color for all of the icing. So take your time, fill it in slowly, try and keep it inside the lines. You really do not have to rush. There's no rush on this. So take your time, fill it in slowly, and make sure that it's all even. This is very important, that it is all even as the base layer, because then when you go to add the highlights, the shadows, the sprinkles, there's not going to be patches of areas where it's like, oh shoot, there's a lot of black right there, and oh, there's paper showing through. So I just kind of shook off all of the excess little pieces, and then now I'm going in with the white on top to add the highlights. So I'm going to have the light source coming from the left side of the paper. So the left side of the donut, the top of the donut, and then the left side of all of the frosting areas are where I'm going to have the highlights. Now I'm taking red, because it's basically a darker shade of pink, and I am going to add all of the areas that I want to be kind of the shadow area, but not as dramatic as me adding the other black areas. So then I'm going to blend, and I'm going to take that red, and I'm going to blend that in a little bit more. And then when I'm done, the highlights of the red in the areas, and I'm going to add white and make sure that all of the highlighted areas are crisp and neat, and that they are blended. So then now what I'm doing is I'm taking a black very lightly to add all of the outlines kind of for where the icing is, so that it has a little bit of shadow. And then now on the right side of the donut, I am creating a shadow with the black. And on the right side of the drips of the icing, I'm making the black a little bit more dramatic. And then now what I'm doing is drawing a shadow using black on the paper so that it looks like it's a donut sitting on a surface, and then that's the shadow of the donut. And I'm taking blue to make it a little bit like more interesting instead of just being black on black paper, and adding some more depth, adding some more dimension. And then I'm kind of outlining it with the blue and then blending it so that it is a little bit more interesting, a little bit more unique. And I'm taking that black very lightly over that blue, so you can still see the blue when you look close, but it's not as dramatic. And then I'm just going to go finish blending, and I'm taking the peach color to blend, and I was using my fingers to blend a little bit because I noticed that when I was trying to use the peach, it was scraping off other layers of the oil pastel. And then now I'm taking the blue, and I had to clean it off, and then I'm going to be making little circle sprinkles, and I'm just going to put them all throughout the top of the icing in different areas and kind of make it a little bit random, but also like a little bit of a pattern, so it kind of looks like it was like dipped, or sprinkles were like dropped onto the donut to make it look a little bit more realistic. And then what I need to do is have other color sprinkles to make it look more interesting. So I was trying yellow, and I was like, nope, this is not working. So I went and I filled that in with pink and kind of erased it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try green. So then I was trying green, and I was like, okay, this is working. So I did the longer, skinny type of sprinkles, and I was kind of trying to make it just like a little bit sporadic. So they're all at different angles, and they're a little bit random. And then when I was done with that, I was like, okay, now I need to go and I need to add another color. So I did purple, and so then there's purple and green long sprinkles, and then blue circle sprinkles. And then I'm taking the black and, just adding more shadows, and then I'm going to add shadows of black on the right side of all of the sprinkles, and then I will add highlights of white on the left side of all of the sprinkles. And if you do not do this part where you are adding the black on the right side and then the white on the left side, it is not going to look as realistic, and your sprinkles are not going to be as dramatic, and it just will not give the vibe you're trying to go for. So please make sure you are spending time to actually add these small details, and I promise you it will pay off in the end, because your donut will look a lot more realistic, a lot more interesting, and you will be much prouder of yourself. Trust me. So I'm almost done. Now I'm just finishing up, adding those finishing touches of the highlights on those sprinkles. And then when I'm done, I'm like looking at it and I'm like, yeah, I like it. So I sign it, and that's it.